and welcome to the tutorial on how to do challenge number 1 in the web penetration test of CySCA 2017 in a box. My name's Ben and I'll take you through it today. So first challenge is obviously getting the CySCA in a box up and running. I'll leave that as an exercise for you guys to do. So here we are on the scoring challenges page. If you just scroll down the page a little further to the web app pen test, you've literally got the link to the first one right here where my cursor is. If we right click that, open it in a new tab, makes it a lot easier for us to go through things. I'll just log out because I was previously doing challenge on this page. So we're greeted with this when we first start up. I'll try that again, there we go. We're greeted with this page when we first log in. So it's a web penetration test. Most of the time, the first thing you'll do when you do a web application pen test is just simply look at the source code. So the easiest way to do that in Chrome or Firefox is just do a right click and you go view page source. So scrolling through this, it looks pretty generic login screen. You've got a form here which posts to a page with a token with a value, username, password. So the token there is probably used for validation of some kind, not really relevant at the moment. But there's also further down the page a comment here and it says remove from prod. So it's reasonable to assume that this comment was accidentally left in here by the developers before it was put on the production server, which we're accessing now. And we see demo::demo. That looks like a login credential. So let's just give it a go and see what happens. So in Unix, it's very common to separate usernames and passwords with a colon in a file. So we'll just try demo and see if we get in. Lo and behold, we're on the first page here and we're greeted by a dashboard and a flag. Pretty simple challenge to get things started. It's a little harder than it has been in previous years. In previous years, we've simply had the flag as part of the source code itself. So in previous years, we've had flag in a comment like that. Been really easy to grep for. Some people have solved challenges with that in the past. But this year, a little more difficult. You've actually got to log in, use your know-how, think about the challenge, why this is actually there. Now in the real world, obviously we wouldn't want that to happen. So the next part of the challenge in CySCA is to explain why this is a bad idea, why you should never have something like this comment here in a production server. Why was that there in the first place? Why is it still a login? And more importantly, why does it still work? This should never be on a live system. Those are obviously demo credentials that you should be only using in testing or in client demos and so forth. They should not be there for the real world to view. So a simple way to fix this in the real world would be to implement a code signing and code checking solution in your continuous integration. Before anything gets pushed live, you strip all the comments from it. You wouldn't need the comments for this site to work properly. You could strip them out. Because after all, HTML doesn't render comments anyway, and neither does JavaScript. So why would you leave them in there? The other really simple solution for this is just a code review. If you had more than 2 or 3 people looking at this, that would have been caught like almost instantaneously. So pass that advice on in the next challenge, which would have been explain this. How can we avoid this happening again? It's a simple enough problem to fix. Just remove that from the server. Make sure it doesn't go out live. And the reason why it should never go live is, I'd hope it's pretty obvious to explain. You should never have details as comments to log in. That's just as good as leaving those passwords live on the internet as a website. They may as well be open viewable to the internet. They could be posted to a Facebook page or something. That's effectively the same as leaving it in your things. Sure, it takes a bit more tech know-how to look at the source code of a page, but anybody can do it. It's as simple as right-clicking. You should just never allow that through. Thanks for listening, guys, and the next video will cover the next challenge. Cheers.